Britt, any thoughts on like sort of practical tools, resources,
Yeah.
etc.?
Well, off the top of my head, I was just thinking exposure. Exposure is one of your greatest tools to combat this. The more people know each other, the less inclined they are to, anytime people live in a shroud of mystery, it just festers negativity and complication. So there are as many different definitions of identity as there are people on the planet. But at the very root, if you distill down all those definitions, there are a few core values and um, needs that make up this sense of self, right? So when that, as you're saying, it appears to come under threat from another party, conflict ensues because we hold it at our core, at our root. So, like I said, how we define those values varies from person to person, but one basic element that is common to everyone, albeit in very different degrees, is the need to feel seen and heard. And humans need affirmation from fellow humans that their existence matters. People will tell you that they don't, but we all do. It's just a fact of being a human. Even if it's in a very small and imperceptible way, we need that affirmation. So to achieve that end where people feel seen and heard, exposure is helpful, and that includes communication. Those are really your strongest weapons. And leaders can use communication in particular in two significant ways, I think. First is that leaders would do well to know the people that they guide, and they would do well to support their managers knowing the people that they guide. So it's impossible to deeply know a large group of people. I think your carrying capacity, somebody said it was 150 people, to know that many people deeply. So, you're never going to know everything, but you can have a basic understanding of what matters most to the people around you and your company culture. And that can help you stave off trouble. And so when conflicts do arise, the first order of business after learning the details of the conflict, the what has happened, should be to discover the why. Why does this matter to the people involved? What does it affect in their sense of self? Have they, for example, had to work very hard in the past for recognition? So anytime they feel ignored, it compounds what is already a painful existence. Do they maybe worry that if they make a mistake, they'll lose their job, and with its security to pay, this is a common one, to pay health insurance for a sick family member? Those are core things. And then the second way this can be done is if and when the conflict does arise, because they always do, helping the people at the center of the conflict understand each other's core values and needs and help them discover why the other person is approaching it the way they are, and to feel safe doing so, would significantly reduce the tension. And sometimes that's a conversation you can have with them jointly. Sometimes that's tasking them with something that highlights their strengths. It can happen in a myriad of ways, but the goal is to help each person understand that the other person across the table involved in the dispute is human and is approaching this from some very core values and needs. And people will often offer their own brilliant solutions. You won't have to do a thing if they just are allowed to feel seen and heard.